All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Wheeling Options. I'm here with my guy, TJ. This is episode number 5. And today we're going to be talking about a couple things. Number one is going to be obviously the title of this video, SoFi falling from $9, $9.30 to about low 7s, down about 4% on the day today, primarily because of this dilution news that management put out. And we don't really care too much about the news. We care more about what the reaction was to the stock. And we're going to be talking about that. And then from there, that's going to lead us into a conversation about what it means to manufacture the win, especially when something kind of goes against you, given how you were positioned on a particular stock like dilution news, and what it means to kind of stick to your horses on one stock and see how you can keep it going. TJ, what's up? How are you?
I'm well, man. How are you? I see your channel's blowing and going, dude. I wanna commend you on your work ethic, dude. You're like a machine, Amit. Do you ever sleep, bro? Do you ever sleep?
So the last night on Sunday when Bitcoin was fucking going to 70K, I could not sleep. I was like, I got to tweet about this. This is great. And so that's fun seeing it. But yes, I took some melatonin last night. I actually forced myself to go to sleep.
So are you addicted a little bit to content creation? Is that like because when I was trying to get to 1,000 subscribers and the 4,000 hours of watch time, it felt like such a monumental task for me. You know, it was like it was hard to do because I started with like 3 to 5 minute clips or whatever, like little videos. And I was like, okay, you're like, dude, we need to get to like 8 minutes or whatever. And you need to do lives and you can get like 10, 20, 30 people watching at one time. If it's an hour, you know, it's just, so you kind of like gave me little formulas. But do you get addicted to content creation to a certain degree, or do you have like guilt, like not going to the gym and that kind of thing? Or how do you deal with it?
I have more guilt if I'm not creating content. So okay. I recently started to go back to the gym, but it's been like a couple weeks, but I started going back. But if something's happening in the world and I'm not creating content about it and I want to, like I have an idea, I can post it, but I don't do it because I'm busy. Like, dude, I'll be having a conversation with my mom and I'll be tweeting like, because I got to get the tweet out there. So it's definitely a bit of an addiction, but it's what I love to do. You know, it's what I've always wanted to do.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, all right. And you have a major in what, business, or how did, like, were you journalism? Like, why are you such a little busy bee as far as the news goes?
I have a major in business, but the major was bullshit, quite frankly.
Okay.
Like, it's absolute garbage. I don't know, dude. I've just been, I think I have a personality that loves communicating, and I've been communicating for a while, and I've been trying to make content for like years and years and years, and it never worked. And then I finally figured out how to make content a little bit more professionally, and then decided to kind of go all in. And now you're here, and now, you know, the job's not done. You got to really, really put up some heavy numbers. And also, I know there's so many opportunities. Like, I think you heard about that company I'm investing in, the private startup Figure. The only reason I'm investing in them is because of content leading to more distribution, leading to more opportunities, leading to more networking. So I know that it's priceless building it, but it's a lot of fucking work for the next couple of years to really solidify it, because I don't think it's solidified yet.
Is that the robot thing? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, the robots.
Okay. Yep. Can I ask you a question just totally candidly? Because I've invested in those types of things.
Correct.
But I've always thought that you had to be an accredited investor.
No, I am. Yeah. We talked with my lawyers, and we pretty much got it done. There's no way you can do it without being accredited. So called up a bunch of lawyers, a bunch of different people, and they're like,
you can also get sponsored though. Technically.
Yeah, that was a route to go. We didn't go that route. We actually like went the legal route because you can't, mess up on that stuff.
Yeah.
And so that was good to go, and we got that done. But that only happened because you're creating so much content. I was actually speaking with a guy from Morgan Stanley today. He reads my newsletter, and I was talking to him as well. There's just so many different opportunities you can get from like actually, putting out content. I mean, look at what's happening to you. You got 80 people every single day watching you wheel and deal, right? Like I remember when you had like 5 people, but you kept going.
Dude, we're the SoFian soldiers, baby.
The SoFian soldiers, that's what you call them? Oh my God.
We're the rent squad. Let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. Let's talk about it.
All right. SoFi fell from 9 to 7 because Noto said, screw you guys. We're raising $750 million. What happened to your portfolio? How'd you manage it when that went down?
I was excited. I tweeted about it. I had the Amit itch. And I actually tagged him because I felt compelled to. We bought 25,000 shares. And I tagged Anthony Noto and I said, hey, thanks for doing me a solid on the convertible note. then I feel like there's a lot of people that are going to be butthurt because the initial knee-jerk reaction is going to be the dilution of these potentially whatever 61 million shares or whatever it's going to be. Because there's a lot of people that aren't going to understand it. I don't fully understand it because that's just not the game that I play. My game is how can I make money off the stock at the end of the day.
Is that what? That Noto's calling you? He's trying to give you another discount or
right.
something?
No, it's my brother, JM brother. My job is to figure out how I can make money and how I can turn that into an opportunity. So nothing that SoFi was going to be able to do with that announcement of the capital raise, because essentially it was a capital raise. It was a restructuring of debt. Whatever terminology you want to use, whatever makes you feel good to sound smart, whatever you want to do, however you want to frame it, it's irrelevant to me. What I wanted to do is use it as an opportunity to make more money with the stock. Because there wasn't anything that they were going to be able to do or say to change my investment thesis over the next 3 to 5 year time horizon.
Right.
So I was like, okay, cool. Stock goes lower. I should be excited because if I'm in the business of buying stocks, theoretically, I mean, wouldn't it make sense to want to buy them at a better price? Buy low, sell high. Isn't that the dream? So if it's giving me that opportunity, I should be excited. I shouldn't be angry. So I just had the monies available. So we went shopping. We went SoFi dip shopping. And then I added another wrinkle as well. I bought some leaps as well, very strategic, not lottery tickets. I bought some leaps, meaning I'm legit willing to take ownership of these shares down the road. I just don't want to have to tie up all of the capital right now to do so. So I want to be able to control the shares for a fraction of the cost. And I hope they go to the moon so that I can buy them over here at $10. I hope they're worth 30 or 40. So I have a nice intrinsic value already built in. And then I can turn around and sell covered calls over there if I think SoFi still has legs. If I don't think it has legs at that time, well, then I'll just cash out my note. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to create my own convertible note because I wanted to align myself with Anthony Noto because it came down to a Charlie Munger quote, which says, show me the incentive and I'll show you the result. And I felt like my portfolios are not aligned with the incentive because I have too many covered calls. So I have a limited downside risk because you own a bunch of shares. So they could go to zero, theoretically, right? So if I had a zero amount money. But if they go to the moon, the covered calls are putting a little bit of a cap there. Yes, I can stop, drop, and roll and do all of those things. But in actuality, there's still a cap there. So I have a limited downside, but I have limitations on the upside. So I'm not really strategically aligned with the incentives, especially with the way that they're not drawn up. They're drawn up with the share-based, performance-based packages for Anthony Noto. And now that the way that they're setting themselves up, potentially getting in bed with an institution, because now they might become the darlings on Wall Street. I was like, let me stay aggressive on covered calls because I need to bring premiums to the door to lower my adjusted cost basis to zero on the shares that I'm long on. But let me introduce leaps into the portfolio as well because I've collected a bunch of premiums. So I'm buying them with other people's money anyway. And then if SoFi wants to run, I want to let that Sofian stallion run. Let it run buck wild. Let it go to the moon. And then I can decide what I want to do with that lottery ticket. Do I want to just cash it in like you do all the time with your debit spreads? Or do I want to actually turn it into some shares that I have some built-in profit in already?
So for you, you saw it as it didn't change the investment thesis.
No.
So from an options perspective, it just felt like this was something to take advantage of versus to get scared of.
Facts.
Okay. So you want to show us what you did with your portfolio?
Sure. So what I do here, present, is that the game? Share screen. So we'll start off with this guy right here. So that's SoFi. So getting right through the coals, down on its whiskey right now, right? So you guys can see right there, we're sitting on 125 large at $8.15. So where I went to school, that's less than $7.46. So that's why we're down 86K or $8.45%. So can you see how there's a huge risk to the downside in the portfolio? Because every dollar that SoFi goes down, I'm going to go down based on the amount of shares that are owned. That's very basic math, right, Amit?
Correct.
But the issue is, because I have covered calls over here at $9.50, if SoFi goes on this meteoric rise, such, a lot of YouTubers think, because of what? The short float is pretty high, right? I don't know what the exact number is. You might know, but it's approaching 17, 18, maybe even 19%, according to some,
17.6 or 17.06. Yep.
So allegedly that creates an opportunity for potentially a squeeze, right? Shorts could potentially be forced to cover, which does puts upward buying pressures on the stock.
Right.
And it could blow past my $9.50 strike price. And then, so I have all of this unlimited risk to the downside, but I have a $9.50 cap on the upside as far as capital appreciation. So I feel like it's not really in my favor. You follow me?
Correct.
And then I wanted to align myself with this. What happens at 25, 35, and 45? Who is generously compensated if SoFi were to hit those metrics down the road?
Anthony Noto.
But according to this $9.50 covered call, who's not adequately compensated here in this equation?
You.
Exactly. So I wanted to align myself more with Captain Noto, because I got a lot riding on this play. So I just wanted to make sure that the risk was commensurate with the reward. So what I decided to do is not just continue to load up on cash secured puts. So I put these on. These weren't on last time. So I put these guys on. 200 contracts, brought in another 3,800. These expire this Friday. I feel pretty good about them.
Which means you're betting SoFi will not be below 750.
And it's 51 delta, so it's literally a coin flip right now.
Yeah.
Literally a coin flip right now. That's what that means, guys. So it's either going to be above 750 or it's going to be below 750. If it's above 750, they release the collateral. No harm, no foul. The 3,800 in either case, ours to keep, right? Yep. But if it's below 750, then there's an exchange of wealth. There's a transfer of wealth. These 200 contracts or 20,000 shares would get put into the account in lieu of the monies that were tied up, which you could do the math on that, Amit. I don't know it off the top of my head. So 150,000, I guess, right? 75. Yeah. So yeah, $150,000 worth of SoFi at 750 would be put in the account. And the downside is, if SoFi is trading at 650, I'm over here buying them at 750 when you can pick them up on the open market at 650. So that would be the downside of a cash secured put. But now I've got a break even of 731 because they did pay 19 cents a share, $19 a contract. That's how you get that $3,800 in premium. So that's one bet that I made. Another bet that I made that wasn't on there before is I entered into a more conservative play at $7 for down the road, just to bring in some what I consider some sure money, some easy money, if you will. So, laid out another, appears to be 140,000 if my math is serving me correctly. So tied that up for about 21 days because we entered into this on March the 8th. So about 20 days, and brought in another $3,400 in premium to just continue to bring in some monies. And then also at $7, all the things that I know about SoFi today in comparison to when I first started investing in the company, that I feel like SoFi at $7 is just a steal of a deal. And my future self, 3 to 5 years from now, would really be excited to own some more shares at the $7 range. And then they would pay us, they paid $3,400 up front.
How much collateral is those 200?
140.
Okay. Got it.
Because you just multiply the 700 times the 200 contracts.
Got it.
But then I was like, okay, cool. That's all fine and dandy because I'm doing what I love to do. Sell puts, collect premium. That's my bread and butter, dude. That is 80% of the income that I've ever generated with the wheel strategy is because of cash secured puts. That is where my bread is buttered. And I can show you stats on the wheel tracker in a little bit that'll blow your mind, Amit. Covered calls are only about 20% of the revenues generated, but they take up about 80% of the portfolio value. So there's a big disconnect there. You follow me?
So your covered calls did actually very well on this drop, the ones you had, because you were definitely not going above that strike when
Yeah,
they
yeah.
fell.
So if you look at them right here, they've performed okay so far.
There you go,
Yeah,
60% up. Yeah,
not bad, right?
not bad at all. Yeah. Now,
Yeah.
granted, I don't think SoFi was going to 950 anyway, but like you definitely are getting that.
Well, I'm being very conservative though, because
Right.
there's a lot of walls, like the technical walls and all this stuff. But even if it did go at 950 and I just like I fell asleep at the wheel and they got called away, I own them at 815. I mean, would that really be the worst thing? I could just
No.
take all that cash and start selling cash secured puts at 9. You know what I mean?
Mm,
It wouldn't be like the worst thing, a huge taxable event. That sucks. But it is what it is. But then I entered into a myths world a little bit. I entered into the world of, I took a page out of Jesse Dow's playbook. Let's give him a shout out because he does this kind of stuff for a living. I've always done it, but just here and there, I pick my spots. You follow me?
right.
So this is my button up strategy. Whenever I feel like I have enough shares and I no longer want to invest any more monies into shares because it's just very capital intensive. You can control the same amount of shares for a fraction of the cost and enjoy an unlimited upside because whenever you buy a leap, it's a leveraged instrument, as you well know, and making you participate in these probably more often than you should, correct?
That is correct.
So this is what I did, Amit. I said I made a bet with the market that on January the 16th, 2026, that if SoFi is trading at $10, I gladly scoop up an additional 100 contracts or 10,000 shares, and I had to lay out some cash to do so. $2.40 a share, or 240 a contract, or $24,000 total. So I don't really start printing any money here unless SoFi is above the break even, which is $12.40. So for a lot of people that believe that SoFi is going to go on this crazy moonshot run on the Rocket Labs rocket ship, right? Like if it's going to go do that, then I'm okay if it does that because now I have this unlimited potential on these $10 covered calls because now I reserve the right to buy these 10,000 shares on or before January on 2026, regardless of the price that it's trading. It could be trading at $100 a share. I've got a contract that says I could buy them at $10 a share and enjoy all of that capital appreciation that's already built in.
Right.
Or I could just flip the contract, which is what you usually do. Because whenever you enter into these contracts, you have no intention of exercising.
Correct. Yep.
I am doing it with the intention to exercise. I just don't want to tie up another $75,000 right now because it cuts into too much of the buying power. I would rather at this point start using a leveraged instrument if I'm truly bullish from this point forward. So I need to do the leaps because it's an eroding asset and I don't want that time decay to be eaten at me too quickly. So I need to have as much time on the clock as possible to let the investment thesis play out. And I fully believe that January 2026, if SoFi is not above $12.40, there's something really, really wrong with the investment thesis. And it's definitely time to take a step back and look at the entire position as a whole, because there's a whole lot of opportunity costs going on. And you just got to be able to call a spade at that point.
Yeah. If SoFi's not above $10 by 2026, then
Well,
something went
forget
wrong.
about 10. I got it could be above 12.40 because I
1240, right.
shelled out $2.40.
Right. Right.
I mean, that's the reality. But people are like, "Oh, what is it?" I was like, "Dude, well, if you own the shares, and if you're down, well, you're down." So I mean, if it's like at $11 or whatever, I could still take ownership of the shares if I wanted to, and then sell covered calls and bring that premium right back through the door. Or you could just roll the leap into another year or two. I mean, there's things that you could do with leaps as well. The same thing as like whenever you own shares, the way that you manage a cash secure put in a covered call, you can manage leaps as well. Just the same thing with share ownership. There's always There's bag holding scenarios with all types of plays out there. But this is not a lottery ticket for me, guys. This was just something very strategic so that I could align myself with the incentive, because I believe that the incentive is going to be aligned with the outcome based on Charlie Munger's quote. I just think that that's the way it's going to play out for SoFi, Amit, and I wanted to be aligned with that. So what do you think? I mean, you see all the positions there. I'd like you to grade it. You have enough experience now, Amit. I do a lot of talking on here, but you don't have to be so coy. You don't have to act like you don't know what you're doing or talking about now. Look at that strategy right there, and you should be able to tell whether or not I'm strangling the living daylights out of this thing. I mean, what do you think? I mean, seriously, I like to think, what does Amit think?
I think if anyone was going to squeeze the juice out of SoFi, you are continuously finding more juice, because what I'm looking at right here is a $7.50 put, which, yeah, you could get assigned those shares. But if you do, I mean, you're getting them at a pretty healthy average, in my opinion. And you might not. And then you have a $9.50 call on top of it, all in the next 2 weeks. I don't think SoFi is getting to $9.50 in the next couple of weeks. And could it get below $7.50 this week? Sure. But it also couldn't. So I do think SoFi is a stock in a Goldilocks zone for the wheel strategy, which I think gets us to the next topic. This is what Sam Lin says. This strategy won't let you be rich overnight, but it's stable income.
Agreed.
You want to talk about what that means in terms of manufacturing the win and picking one or two or maybe max 3-4 companies and really squeezing all the lemon you can out of those companies to generate some money?
Yeah. So what I do, guys, is right. Like right now, I'm riding essentially 4 horses really hard, and I sell puts and I sell calls on those stocks. So I can bring so many premiums through the door via cash secure puts, covered calls, and rolling. That way I look up at the portfolio in 3 to 5 years, and it's just going to come down to a game of math. There's going to be credits on one side of the ledger, and there's going to be debits on the other side of the ledger. And at the end of the day, you need that number to be either in the red or in the black. It's basic accounting, Amit. Yep. So that ticker, I needed to be in the black some way, somehow, via a combination of cash secured put credits, covered call credits, rolling credits, and capital appreciation. All of that somehow, some way, it needs to be in the black. I don't want to be in the red, because if not, well, that was a lot of opportunity cost, because you got to think of all of the other tickers that you could have been in. If all of this money would have been in Palantir, holy shit, dude, this would have been another $2 or $3 million, because I'll show you how well Palantir has performed, because I have a position in Palantir here as well that has performed extremely well.
Yep.
So we can compare apples to apples.
Yep.
Because, I'm dead set on making a ton of money on SoFi right here. But at the same time, I can't be blinded by the fact that there's a lot of horses that are already running a lot faster than SoFi. SoFi's that horse that's got a lot of potential, but it's lame right now. Like it's got a limp. It's always at the veterinarian. There's something wrong with this damn horse, and it just don't want to run. It's got all the potential in the world, but it's full of fucking excuses.
I agree.
It's just one of those things. It's that kid in school that's got all the potential in the world, but makes shitty grades because they quote unquote don't study. I was like, no, fucker, you're lazy. You know what I'm saying? You're either lazy or you're just not that smart, and you hide under this guise and you just don't study. There's always something. Because you can make progress in life, you can make excuses. You can't do both at the same time. You got to pick a side. So SoFi has a lot of potential. But we are where we are. We're talking about a stock that's $7.50, probably for a reason, dude. Probably for a reason. What those reasons are, dude, I'm not exactly sure, because I'm of the camp that I think that it should be in the $9 or $10 range.
But you're happy that it's stuck in this range.
It's giving me an opportunity to make a shitload of money with it. Still.
So let's talk about that.
How position is full.
How do you find a company that gives you that opportunity? Like, what is your framework, I guess, to find the next SoFi to wheel and deal? Because it has to be range bound. If it's not range bound, you can get fucked on either side of the position pretty quickly.
Sure. So what I'm looking for is a stock that's got a couple of 2 or 3, I don't know, there's like little bullets that I'm looking for, if you will, like parameters.
Right.
The first parameter I'm looking for is a stock that I feel market cap, share price. Does it have a realistic double in it within the next 3 to 5 years from the time that I started messing with it? From the very first time that I sell my first cash secured put, or I buy 100 shares outright, because a lot of times I don't enter into these positions via cash secured put. Sometimes I just buy shares outright, start selling covered calls, because I like owning shares. If you guys can't figure that out already, look at the portfolio. I like owning shares because I'm a hodler at the end of the day as well. So I got to see a double in the next 3 to 5 years. And we're approaching already between 3 and 4 years with SoFi. So it's got to give a double here at some point, Amit. You can say, yeah, it doubled from 4 to 8. That's an argument you can make. But if you were in it at 12.50, does that really count, Amit? You follow me?
Not really. Not really.
Because when I was in it at first, it was like 12 to 15, dude. So I don't know that 4 to 8 really counts. Like for it to really count for me, it's got to get closer to like 20.
Right.
Just to call a spade, dude. I mean, the numbers don't lie. People do. The numbers don't lie. So I'm looking for a stock that has a realistic double in it within 3 to 5 years. And I'm looking for put premium and call premium to be between 25 and 40% annualized every time I enter into a contract. The juice has to be worth the squeeze. Why is that important, Amit? Why do you think that's important?
Well, because if you're dedicating this much capital locked up into SoFi, whether through the shares that you sell calls against or whether the cash secured puts that you have to put up collateral against, I mean, if it's not performing, then you could be putting money in something like a Palantir going from 16 to 24, and that's way easier than having to manage these positions.
So there's a couple. You're definitely on the right track. There's a couple of reasons why I need to have a ticker that gives you quite a bit of premium. One, because if you're not getting capital appreciation, put premium can still make you profitable in the position. Secondly, and the real reason that I need high premiums is because usually I'm wrong on the entry point. So the premiums that I generate via cash secured puts and cover calls will help erase those mistakes a lot easier. Whereas like when I was wrong on Pfizer with my entry point, because the premium sucks so bad, dude, it could take me 90 days, 120 days, 180 days to break even on that stock, even though I was only off by like $1.50 because, you know, on $135,000 of capital tied up, it's only generating $800 or $900 a month in premiums.
Right.
Whereas with SoFi, that's going to generate like $4,000 or $5,000 a month.
Right.
So it's easier to erase mistakes on entry points, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So the premiums can be like the magical eraser. It's like a buffer. And it's also a replacement for capital appreciation or lack thereof. So what I like to do is draw y'all's attention, if I could, to the wheel tracker, Amit, and show you kind of what I've been able to accomplish with SoFi in spite of lack of capital appreciation. Let's just call it capital depreciation, if you will.
So, like a car, you know?
So this is SoFi. First of all, these are all the trades as I scroll. This tracker is awesome. This green one, this yellow one here, that's the leap. That's the leaps, the long, what is it? Long equity anticipated securities, whatever the hell.
Yeah.
It's a long dated put or call over a year. That's essentially what leaps are. But got 125,000 shares. Current price is $7.46. Cost basis is $8.15. But the adjusted cost basis is already $6.65. So all the cash secured put and covered call premium has already brought the cost basis of all those shares down to $6.65. So it's been an absolute grind, dude. It's been an absolute grind. And here you'll see open contracts of 1,350. So you'll be like, well, how can you have 1,350 open contracts when you only own 125,000 shares? Because this is taking into account the leaps as well. You follow me?
Right.
And then here it says open call premiums is negative 8,550 because whenever you buy leaps, you have to pay money, right? So whenever I received premiums on all the covered calls, whenever I bought the leaps, the premiums that I paid for the covered calls or for the leaps exceeded the premiums that I ever received via covered calls. That's why I'm running a deficit on the covered call campaign side of things with SoFi. So I keep very accurate books first and foremost. You follow me so far?
Yep.
Pretty straightforward.
Pretty straightforward.
There's 800 open put contracts. The open put premium received right now is 18,400. The end of put value is 480,000. So of all the contracts, the 800 contracts that have been written right now, 480,000 of those are in the money. So it tells me that SoFi is really taking a serious dump from this latest cash secured put campaign. So it already raises a red flag for me. That's why it's in red right now, that I'm going to have to really monitor these cash secured puts so that this doesn't turn into 200,000 or 250,000 shares very, very quickly and even increase the cost basis potentially. So I may have to be looking at rolling some cash secured puts. I'm going to have to monitor these positions to really see what's going on. So then now this gives you the dollar amount of the cost basis. So it tells you what the dollar amount is there, negative 85 on the shares. The call profit is now $5,140. The put profit is the bread and butter, the 181,000. So the wheel profit is 186. So because the put profit exceeds the money that we're down on the actual stock depreciation, that's why we're profitable in total. In total, we're profitable on SoFi still, if that makes sense. We still have more credits than debits at the end of the day because of all of these trades right here that you see that I've scrolled on. I'm manufacturing the win. And that is very, very important, dude. If I was just going here and there and nibbling and nibbling and nibbling like a butterfly trying to pollinate everything, you're never going to manufacture the win on a ticker. Like you gotta pick a ticker and you gotta manufacture the win.
You know what this is so exciting about? And as I build up some capital that's really on the side, I'm excited to have a portfolio exclusively based on selling options. And it's quite literally because of you, because this is really cool. If you are long a ticker, you got to know the actual fundamental due diligence behind it. To have those shares make you make money, whether on the put side or the covered call side, it's an exciting thing because there is premium you can consistently create off of a position that you actually believe in. And that's a much easier way than trying to guess that SoFi is going to be $12 in 2 years, right? So it is exciting. And I think it does make sense. Also, the manipulation you can do from rolling and old things like that in terms of manufacturing the win, even if the company announces dilution and then, stock falls a lot.
Right.
Because of that.
So there's that. So let me show you, let me keep going here a bit and let me show you a summary here. This summary, first let me give you the overview. And I want to walk y'all through big changes that I'm making in this portfolio because the numbers kind of tell you what to do in every business. Admit you just had what some people might consider a failure in business, but that might ultimately lead you to big successes in business and in life because a lot of times we learn from failures because it's called failing forward. You follow me?
Right.
Because you'll look back on those things and be like, shoot, I learned a lot. Because when you lose, you learn. If you want to, or you could just get bitter. It's up to you, right? It's always going to be up to you.
Yep.
So here, what I look at right away is obviously you can see the deposits. The brokerage cash is what's in the account, and then I can just go back over here real quickly and substantiate this for you guys. We keep accurate books. This thing here is accurate. You see that right there? You see that number there?
1.3. Yep.
Right. So then I go back over here. Guys, and you'll see that number there. Pretty accurate.
Yep.
Follow me?
Yep.
It's just because this is a business. This is not a hobby, guys. This is a way of life. This is a way to manufacture the win, to live a very, very fine life, sitting in front of a computer, in front of a phone, doing whatever the hell you want to do, selling puts, selling calls, collecting some premiums. I mean, dude, I feel like I got the best job in the world. So, but here I look at the share market value, the total invested capital, the unrealized gain or loss on the shares is negative. The open option premiums, all of those things are good. I'm utilizing margin, etc. Tells you the total portfolio value. The all-time return on the portfolio is 27%. Gives you all of these metrics here. But then I started looking at the metrics over here on this side, and this really started, it stood out to me. When I started looking at the net call premiums versus the net put premiums, and this is from the inception of this portfolio going on June of 2021. So what is that, Amit? 2.5 years, give or take?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. 262,000 versus 1.457. 84.76% versus 15.24%. For a total premium income of 1.7 million. And don't forget about the 2100 divvy, Pfizer. Let's get Pfizer's doing its part. You follow me? So I'm just saying, dude, I want to free up money because share ownership isn't contributing to anything, because I'm not getting capital appreciation, because it's telling me I'm not picking the right stocks. So that's on me. That's not on the horses. That's on the jockey. You follow me?
Right.
Because the stocks are the horses. I'm the jockey. So I'm not blaming the horses. I'm laying the blame where the blame lies, because I'm able to do that as a mature human being. A lot of people are not able to do that. Do they want to blame the stocks? I'm like, no, dude, blame the person that pushed the buttons. That's where the blame lies. So I'm saying that this jockey doesn't know how to pick horses that are going up in value. So I'm like, okay, so why don't I play to my strengths? Let me free up a lot of capital so that I can just go grab more of this money right here. Because whether the money comes from this line or this line, Amit, can you agree that those dollars are gonna work the same when you go to the store?
I would say so.
It's not gonna matter, is it?
No, it won't.
So I don't give a shit where the money comes from, Amit. That's the realization that I came to, is I don't give a shit where the money comes from. I want to play to my strengths. So we go to this summary, you can see the tickers here. Amazon, completely out of Amazon, no shares. I sold out of Amazon yesterday and logged a win of 32,000. BABA, there's no shares of BABA, logged a win of 8,300, out of BABA completely. I'm out of Dutch Bros, logged a small win of 1,700. Out of Celsius, logged a small win of 4,300. I don't own any shares of Cleanspark, but I made a cool 293,000 in premiums.
Wait. How'd you make that much money off Cleanspark?
Cash secured puts. I sell leaps. Y'all buy them, I sell them. There's a lot of money in selling them too.
Well, what's the strike? What's the strike on that?
750.
Oh, so how much do you have locked up in Cleanspark?
So let me walk you through a Cleanspark here.
Yeah, I want to see the clean, because that one's in a lot of volatility, but it looks like you're clean if it's 750 is your strike.
Well, man, because here's the thing: you like to make hard money, I like to make easy money. So let me introduce you to the world of easy money, Amit. So here we go. So Cleanspark, can't believe I haven't showed you this, dude.
Yeah,
I was bragging to the whole world about this.
Yeah, let me see it, because everyone's freaking out about this stock right now. So
well, because y'all are gamblers. I'm the casino, right? So let me introduce you to the world of the Aria. You're over there freaking out because red's happened 4 times in a row. You don't understand why black's not happening. Let me show you why the casino is real pretty, because of people like you. So what happened was, in December the 21st, 2023, I knew that the Bitcoin halving was going to happen sometime down the road, right? Because, it was on the calendar, and I was kind of hip to the game. So I started selling cash secured put contracts on Cleanspark, 200 of them at $7.50, picked up a cool $45,000 in premium. So
what strike again?
At 750.
Okay, got it.
So
for January 2025.
Yeah. So you buy leaps, I sell them. There's a lot of money, and it's easier because I don't need anything to happen except for time to go by.
I agree.
I don't need crazy price movements.
I agree. No, you're right.
I just need the passage of time. You need the passage of time, but you also need the shit to go to the moon on a rocket ship. It's tougher. This is easier to do. It takes more capital though,
Now
right?
you just have to be right. No, I agree. It takes more capital, but you have to be right that Cleanspark doesn't dump in January next year to 750, basically.
No, but I mean, I can also close this contract out when I'm at like 50, 60%. Let me walk you through it, okay?
Okay, yeah.
Let me walk you through it. So picked up 45,000. Just do like a little calculator real quickly, just with the numbers. It doesn't have to be exact, so I can walk you through it.
Okay.
So keep track of the math, but the wheel tracker is going to do it for you. 45,000, then brought in another 52,000.
Okay.
Because I was at the getting's good. Might as well get it, right? I was scaling in. Y'all call it DCA, and I call it scaling in. So I got 45, got 52, and I was like, well, shit, it looks good again. You know, she said she'd go on a third date with me. So I went on the third date. You know what happens on the third date, right? It gets real fun. So got another 52. And then I was like, what? She answered my phone again. This is great. So then I got another 60. And then she did it again. And I'm like, she might be, okay, baby doll. She might be my best friend ever. A brisket sandwich, baby doll. So she might be my best friend ever. So I got another 60. Are you keeping up with the math a bit?
Yep.
Then I got another 60. January the 12th, got another 60. And I said, okay, you're being greedy. Let's just get 30. You follow me?
I follow you.
Then what happened? They got on that rocket ship, right? Went on Matt's Rocket Lab ship, or the lunar one. Which one's the one that went to the moon?
Lunar, yeah.
Right, fucking lunar. So then I said, okay. So I was getting 304. I was getting 303. I was getting 303. I was getting 301. I was getting 300. I was getting 260, 260, 225 when I started. But she just kept getting better and better and better. I mean, this Cleanspark chick, you know, she's like the girl that you pick up, and usually they're uglier when you take them home. This one ended up being prettier when you took her home. You follow me?
I follow.
And then she landed on the moon, and I said, hey, let me just go ahead and buy to close out those contracts. So here's all the debits. Do you have all your credits lined up?
I have 419. I might be wrong, but I have 419.
Okay, it was 420, but whatever.
Okay, there you go. Sorry, there. Yeah. Good.
Now here's the debits I got out of the contracts.
So this is how much debits, meaning how much you actually recognize for as a taxable event.
This is how much I paid back in premiums.
Because
so I gave back
okay,
to free up the collateral.
Got it. And but real quick before you do, how much collateral was on that 420?
So let me go to the wheel tracker. It'll tell you. I think it was 1.1 if I'm not mistaken, dude.
Okay, got it. So about a third of the portfolio in collateral.
Yeah, it was a lot. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So let's see how much you made now on this.
Yeah, it was like 1 point and some change, dude. But anyway, back to this guy. So then now I gave back 75. Gave back 75 because you can see they're 150, but we already know that number is smaller than what I was collecting. You follow me? So we already know we're making money.
Yep.
Then gave back 60.
Okay.
Gave back 75.
Okay.
Then I gave back 15. And we're completely out of Cleanspark at this moment.
That means you're left with 195 if I subtract 420 minus those numbers.
Yeah, so that was profit.
195. And about 2 months, right? I mean, you started that.
Yeah, it was some days were 47. And I'll show you on the tracker. So now I can go to the tracker because I got all this over here. So if I go on the tracker over here, you'll see the profit. Is it showing the tracker right now?
Yeah.
Okay. So if we look here, I mean, this thing shows you everything, right? So it shows you here, if I look at row 12, I sold the put, 200 contracts, collected 45,000, date closed 226 for a profit of 15, and I held the contract for 67 days. On the next line, made a $22,000 profit, 48-day contract. $22,000 profit, 48-day contract. $30,000 profit, 45-day contract. Can you see how important it is to have good books, guys?
Yep. No, this is very well organized. I mean, incredibly.
So then I said, hey, it's good there. Let's go to the club again, right? You know, because it was like, well, I mean, it was good last time. I scored. Let me do it again. So then Cleanspark went on this crazy run, and I was like, dude, if it comes back again and they're able to give me more money, kind of like this, at least the 195, because that's when I started the original, right? I was getting 195 way over here.
Yep.
195, I believe is what I was getting. Or here it's saying 225. I feel like I got 195, whatever. So I got 195 on this next round, and I opened up with the profit. With the profit, I was like, let me get back into them again, because I think that at 750, dude, Cleanspark's a steal down the road. I know we'll be in a crypto winter or whatever, but I'm okay, because even if I take ownership, I'm kind of buying them with other people's money. I can just sell covered calls. I end up selling these shares at $10. I get some capital appreciation. Holy shit, maybe I make $500,000 with Cleanspark when it's all said and done. So picked up 39,000, picked up 39,000, picked up 19,500, and that's where we stand. And then if you go to the wheel tracker, that's why it says that we've made 293,300, and we don't own one share of Cleanspark. But we have a commitment to buy now 50,000 shares of Cleanspark at $7.50. And I feel pretty good about it, because the majority of those shares would be bought with other people's money.
Right.
So that's the way that I make the easy money, on leaps.
This is exciting stuff, man. This is good. I think that's a great way to end this. I think I didn't know
I don't mean to put y'all to sleep with the easy money.
No, that was
exciting, but it pays the bills.
What you are teaching me is that I'm trying. I want to get to that 100K liquid on the side, which hopefully by the end of the year that happens. And then dude, selling options. It's not like every market is perfect for it, but if you really know what you're doing, which I don't think yet, then that's why I'm getting all this juicy info from you.
Right.
I think I'll have a decent shot at being able to make some income off selling options in a consistent way. And so, but I think you would say you need at least 100K to start, right? To really get the ball rolling. I mean, I know you can do it with 20K.
So what I like to do is I like to take 3 minutes or 1 minute and show you how much I made with the miners in this portfolio on the tracker.
Yeah, let's do it.
So let's go here so that you guys can see, because I was way ahead of this. Everybody got excited about the miners here recently. I'm like, bro, y'all are like way late to the party. I already left home with the real hot girls. You know what I'm saying? So y'all are seeing Cleanspark. There's Cleanspark. We're always going to go to this number here because that's where it's at. You follow me?
Mm-hmm.
So now, what's another one? Marathon?
Yep.
Let's take a guess. Put it in the chat, because I don't see the chat here. Put it in the chat. How much do y'all think I made in the chat? Marathon. Take a guess, Amit.
So I have no idea how much money you put into this, but I would say close to 100K you made on Marathon.
Oh man, Amit, dude, I'm TJ the Wheel Deal, bro. Come on, don't insult me like that.
Let's do 140. Let's do 140.
Come on, Amit.
227. Wow, or 72.
272.
And all this was done over the past couple months, basically.
No, this one here, I've been working with this one for a while. Started this one December of 2022. Started selling puts, brought in 54,000. Then I sold the backstop trades on this one, brought in 192,000, 96,000. I mean, to use 100.
Have you ever gotten screwed on the Cleanspark and Mara ones ever, or?
No, I showed you everything on Cleanspark, dude. It's clean so far.
The reason it worked is because when these guys were like $6, $7, that's when you started doing everyone's getting into them now at 16, 17, 20. That's the harder part.
Yeah. But I rolled with this guy here. I mean, look at my strikes, dude. Marathon, 550, 550, 1250, 750, 750, 758, 550, 750. I mean, bro, I already printed money, and then everybody's excited about Marathon at 22. I won't touch that shit, you know?
Why is that such an evil laugh right there?
I'm just saying, dude. I mean, it's just that's.
Well, this is what happens in general. People chase, and now Bitcoin miners are the hot thing because Bitcoin's going up. So everyone's
but this is again, people are FOMOing in. You got to understand your fundamentals. Do these miners dilute the living shit out of you?
Yep, that is correct.
Mining is not a very profitable business. But what I know is that Bitcoin doesn't work or exist without the Bitcoin miners.
Correct.
Because who's going to do the computations? Michael Saylor?
Let's answer this question by David. How much did you risk on Marathon? What was the percentage return on Marathon?
Man, it's gonna probably tell me on the summary page. I don't know those off the top of my head. I gotta go to the summary. Hopefully, the summary gives me that kind of shit. Got a lot of metrics here, guys. Got a lot of metrics here. So
In general, we could just calculate it by dividing the profit over the collateral you put up. I mean, that's not the perfect metric. But look, if you're making 270 grand, even if it's a 3% return or whatever, it's
no, it definitely wasn't. There's
very little risk to get that.
It's pretty high. I just there are metrics. I'm just not sure if I'm on the right one because I do have a lot of that stuff here. Oh, like here I could do here premium the chart. Like it tells me who's brought in all the premium based on the tracker or based on the ticker.
Oh, that's perfect. Yeah.
So like Riot's brought in 18.9%, SoFi's brought in 8%, Tesla 7.5%, Cleanspark brought in 19%. This is of the 1.5 mil, right? You follow me? So that'll kind of give you an idea. Enphase has brought in 13.7, Marathon 14.2. I lost money on as far as the premiums on Meta. I made money on the stock. Neo's brought in 2.5, Open Door 2.8. 0.5% on Pfizer, Palantir is 5%, PayPal is 2.9, and then I showed you all Riot. So I don't know if that shows you. And then
that's good.
Portfolio allocation is Tesla's 10, SoFi's 21.9, Riot 6.2, PayPal's 8.5, Palantir's 4.3, Pfizer's 2, Open Doors 1.8, Neo's 2.3. These are cash secured puts that I have that are in the distance. Enphase is 18.6, Cleanspark's 5.3. It's just taking into account that big cash secured put, and then I've got 19% in cash, and I've got 10% over here in Tesla. So I don't know if it gives y'all all the metrics the way they all want them, but I don't really, I don't study all of that stuff like that. And there's a lot of other metrics here. I just don't, I don't know how to grab that info.
So let's TJ, let's end it on this because we're ending up on an hour. How much money, if someone wanted to start wheeling, do you think they need to really try to make it a sustainable career? Like at least 100 grand, you would say?
Well, it depends how much money are you trying to make? Because
let's say you're trying to make 2,500 a month, like minimum wage.
If you're so 2,500 a month. Yeah, easily with 100 grand, especially if you're willing to trade on margin. Because with the 100 grand, that portfolio is going to trade more like 175,000, give or take.
So I have a question here on margin because I was, and I'm not using it at all, but I'm very curious how this stuff works. If you borrow that 75K, you have to pay it back with interest, but the goal is you're using that you don't have to pay back the 75K with interest.
No, see, gosh, man, dude, I don't know who's educating you. You got to be careful with who you listen to. I don't buy shares on margin. I sell puts on margin. Okay. So you don't pay interest on you don't pay interest on margin unless you actually take ownership of shares.
That's the difference. But in general, if you bought SoFi on margin, you have to pay back.
But I wouldn't do that. I would rather take the loss on the cash secured put.
Okay, so let's say you get 75K from Robinhood. They're like, here, TJ, 75K. You have to pay us 8% interest, though. The way you don't pay the interest is you sell puts and you use the 75K as collateral, right?
Right.
And then let's say you get called. What happens there if you have to buy the shares?
Right. So let me just show you this right here. Can you go to the screen real quick?
Yeah.
So here's the brokerage cash, guys. Y'all see that right there? And here's the options collateral. So that difference right there is the amount of margin that I'm using to sell cash secured puts. So that's just more leverage. Like in other words, I can enter into that many more contracts to bring in that many more premiums that I wouldn't be qualified to enter into if I didn't have margin turned on. So I'm just able to amplify my income, but I know damn well that I'm not going to take ownership of those shares because I'll just roll those contracts.
So right now, Robinhood's giving you $3 million basically.
Right. The access, but I'm only tapping into about 700,000 right now.
Right. And what that's doing is it's expanding your ability to write these puts using Robinhood's money. Correct. And you're collecting the premium using someone else's money. But if you were to get called, you would roll those puts so that you don't actually use the brokerage.
If I'm going to exceed my brokerage cash, because I can take ownership of shares
Right.
up to my brokerage cash amount.
Right.
So that's why my tracker is very, very important, because I can look over here and it's going to tell me what is my percentage on my summary. It's going to tell me my input money value, right? So it's going to tell me here, I've got Neo 160,000, Open Door 130,000. I got PayPal 300,000, SoFi 480,000. I've got Tesla 97,000. So my total is 1.167 that is currently in the money as we speak. So I go take that number, 1.167. Am I showing the right stuff right now?
Yep.
So I go 1.167. Then I go back to Robinhood and I go look at my brokerage cash. What's my brokerage cash?
1.3.
So is that more than 1.167?
Correct.
I don't have shit to worry about right now. So again, you gotta treat this like a business, and you gotta know your numbers.
So hold on. So let's say that you borrowed 75K from Robinhood, you wrote the puts, and then SoFi tanks and you have to buy the shares. Let's say you actually didn't want to roll them and you did want to take ownership. What you would do is you would use the brokerage. You would immediately give the margin cash back.
They would take your brokerage cash
Before
and then
the margin,
whatever it exceeds past your brokerage cash, that they would automatically tap into your margin.
And then you would
now you're paying 8% on that aspect of it.
So you're borrowing $3 million from Robinhood without ever, and using it to magnify the gains without ever having to worry, because you know you got your shit together, paying them the $3 million.
I have paid interest in my career, and I think the total interest is $125.
Wow.
And,
dude, I did not know that.
And margin has allowed me to generate about $3 million that I wouldn't have been able to generate because I wouldn't have had the money. So when people say don't use margin, I feel like what they should be saying is don't buy shares on margin.
Correct.
But if you're willing to get educated and really take ownership of this like a business and utilize margin responsibly to sell some very timely cash secured puts, bro, that became my part-time job. Like I was able to stop playing poker full time and driving Uber and Lyft full time when I realized that I could sell cash secured puts on margin, because that was making me a lot more money than I was doing all of those things. And I was bringing in more money, and it was a lot easier. So
TJ, I did not know you're allowed to sell puts on margin and not have to pay interest on that, because that is golden. Now you got to have the right stock. You can't get fucked on getting assigned. But even if you do,
here's the thing, Amit. I'm going to tweak your mindset, and I love the guys that you listen to, and I love them too. You know, and me and Chris, we're boys. Me and Chris, we're going to end up doing real big things together. We communicate from time to time. I feel like one day him and I are going to have like a massive fucking hedge fund together, because we're those.
I think that's going to happen. I think that's
like, I mean, dude, he's like the fucking don't step on the landmine guy, and I'm like, hey, dude, don't be a pussy. We're going to invest in SoFi real heavy because we got to make money too, right? So I think we can balance each other out really good, right? But nonetheless, you got to really understand all the nuances, dude, because that's where the money is printed. Like, dude, whenever I learned that I could sell cash secured puts on margin responsibly, don't be a fucking idiot. You see how much I have available and how much I'm only working with. Dude, I can't afford to leave that money on the table, dude. It's criminal of me.
When did you learn this? When did you, like 3 years ago? When did you officially?
2.5, 3 years ago.
What was your realization when you realized Robinhood would give me a couple million and I could do what I want with it responsibly if I don't get assigned?
I never have to work for anybody again in my life. And then not just that, I could help a couple of friends and family do the same thing if they would be willing to trust me. But here's the thing with friends and family, bro, they don't trust you because they've known you since you were in diapers. They've known you since you were being a fucking idiot. So that's the guy they know.
Yeah.
So it's real hard for them to, they like, a stranger will respect TJ the Wheel Deal a lot more than my cousin would. So it's tough, dude. I mean, it's tough because it hurts my heart that a perfect stranger learns so much more from me than like my brother ever would, or even that my son ever would.
Now let me say this right here, and give me a second. So Tariq says none of this is responsible. So let me I want to set it up, and then I'll let you respond, and then we'll end it here. People like Tariq that says none of this is responsible, and the people in the chat that just found out for the first time you could sell puts on margin. Let's say tomorrow they're like, all right, fuck it, I'm going to become TJ the Wheel Deal, sell puts on margin. What is your warning to those people? Because I know how much work and due diligence you put in to make this an actual career, a lucrative career, but an actual career. So that's my first question. What would you say to the people who just found that out and are like, all right, I'm going to be TJ the Wheel Deal? And number two, what would you say to someone like Tariq who says none of this is responsible?
Maybe for him, because he hasn't devoted 15,000 hours of his life to this craft like I have. I've been in the market for 25 years and I do this for a living. I'm not just sitting there being Warren Buffett in the chat, so to speak. I don't know him from Adam, so I'm certainly not going to talk shit about him. He might be a billionaire for all I know. I don't know. But I would say that it's probably irresponsible for 95% of the people, because it would probably be a surefire way to blow up your account. I would think you would have to have a clear understanding of an underlying. I would think you would need, you would have to really be committed to the underlying, know what the fair market value is of that underlying, pick some very conservative deltas, know how to roll all of those things, and know how to cut a loss. Know how to take a $100 loss and don't chase it and turn that $100 loss into a $4,000 loss. You know what I mean? The first loss is usually the smallest loss, and regroup and stuff, and don't be so damn stubborn with some of these stocks, because some people see these oversized holdings on SoFi and they get really, really excited and all that stuff. But dude, I am very, very aware of the risks associated with the SoFis of the world. That's why I show y'all that I stick with it. I sell puts, I sell calls, I collect premiums, and how much money I made with the miners and all that stuff. But I've been sticking with these things for a very long time. And now when everybody's getting really, really excited about the miners now, I'm kind of now planning my exit strategy a little bit.
Right.
Because
which is the way you want to be. You want to be against the herd. I agree.
Yeah, because I'm dude, because I'm okay, dude, at some point, how are they ever going to raise that share price amid when the float just gets too damn big? Because you understand the math better than I do with these floats, dude. It's just how does that work? The math doesn't math for me anymore, because everybody's like, oh, Marathon's going to go to 100 a share. And I'm like, how? They're going to have a P ratio of 1,500? Or how is that going to happen? They keep diluting it. They just did another 1.5 billion shelf offering, them and Riot, that, they won't use unless they have to. But every time they've done it before, they've done it, it's just, it's because it's a dog world. Dude, that mining business is so tough. Now there's potentially a 30% tax that might happen for these miners. Dude, it's a very, very tough business. But I also know that Bitcoin doesn't exist without these miners.
So the conclusion here is that if you are just learning for the first time today, like myself,
don't do it.
That you can sell puts on margin, do not do it unless you are literally willing to give 15,000, 20,000 hours to learning this, because otherwise you're going to get fucked either way.
They say it takes 10,000 hours to become an expert in your field. And then I would do paper trading. I would do all of the things that it really takes to learn. And dude, I don't condone coaching, right? Because I get angry at people that charge all these crazy amounts of money. But follow a channel like me that has 1,000, 1,500 videos out there probably now that does this stuff all the time and put in the time. But people want shortcuts in life, Amit. And dude, here's the thing. I'm going to leave y'all with this quote. I hate to ruin your day, Amit, but the elevator to success is out of order, bro. You're going to have to take the stairs. And that's the reality, dude. That was told to me when I was 25 years old. I was a young whippersnapper. I was in real estate school. I was trying to become a real estate agent. I was a hot shot. I thought life was going to be real easy for me. This guy pulls me to the side and he says, "Hey, I hate to ruin your day, but the elevator to success is out of order. You're going to have to take the stairs." And I was like, "Oh, well, fuck you, man." Like, but dude, it's out of order permanently. Like, there's no shortcuts. So, yes, it's kind of like the big hack for me, but I'm very, very responsible for it. And like when the market starts getting real frothy, I've been kind of positioning myself for a pullback. That's why I've been scaling back on the stock ownership as well, building up a bigger cash position.
Yep.
Because I feel like, dude, there's going to be a lot of people that could potentially be holding some really big bags pretty soon. Because, dude, it's just getting too easy to make money in the market right now. It
is getting easy. I'm not gonna. It is getting easy.
It scares me, dude. When any old ticker makes you money, dude, it scares me. That's just me. It scares me when a lot of people are making easy money in the market. It starts scaring me a little bit. It starts feeling very bubblicious.
All right. This was good stuff. This was a great pod. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm going to make a playlist of this podcast tonight. And I'll have that on the channel. So if you guys want to watch episodes 1 through 4, where we talked about a lot of the basics of options, we'll keep going from there. Thank you, TJ. TJ's YouTube is in the chat. If you are here and you have not subscribed to him, please make sure to subscribe. He goes live every day, just like me. So you can tune into his lives as well and see what he's talking about. Actually, that's the wrong link. Let me get the right link right now, because I don't want to give the wrong link. TJ the Wheel Deal. Okay, here we go. This is the correct link. And please make sure to follow him on YouTube.
And be responsible, guys. Don't be blowing up y'all's accounts. I want to sleep well at night.
All right. This was awesome. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Take care, guys. Appreciate you, man. Take care, my man.